Alright, wood graining. Wood graining on this wooden boat, but with parts of it as a steel structure. The hows and whys of it. The why is traditional for this kind of boat. When they moved from having old wooden wheelhouses into having metal ones, they wanted to, I think, keep the appearance of the old wooden wheelhouse. So this was how they painted them. And we know on this boat it was done like that because none of the paint was ever stripped off the boat. So was it close on 50 years worth of paint? We peeled through the layers, and some of the early layers of paint, and the original one it had was done just like this. And there's parts of the boat where it still showed through and all the markings were there. And we're going to try and show you like how I've done this. There's a few videos already on YouTube that show you different ways of doing wood graining, and but they're all a little bit different. There's different colours of woods, different sort of styles, and maybe if you're looking at this doing this sort of thing, it might help. So let's go and have a look at what materials we need. Right, materials and preparation of the surfaces. So the materials we're going to use are, the basis is a glaze, a transparent glaze or a scumble glaze. I can't tell you much about this particular product because I was given it by a friend probably 20 years ago, and just knew it would come in handy one day. And it did. So that's the basis of it. This is an oil-based one, and to colour it, that's the point of doing this whole thing, to put in the grain. I'm using some alkyd paints. These are like oil paints, standard artist paints, but they dry a little bit quicker. I don't know if you probably use like normal oil paints in it. Quite a lot of this sort of glaze that's available now is water-based. And I'm guessing you would probably use acrylic paint or powder or something else. You'd have to look for each different product what you use. The basis of the materials or tools, I guess, a big soft brush. This is just a 4-inch decorator's brush, just to sort of smooth it out if you want that kind of thing. To get the actual grain itself, we're also going to use some of these, which are knackered paintbrushes, which the paint has dried on them. They're solid as a rock, but these are all you need. You can as well get these sorts of weird comb things, which will give you the grain effect. These are good. You don't need them necessarily, and don't use them too much because they give the same sort of effect all the time. We're going to thin our glaze down as well with a little bit of white spirit to give me the consistency I want, and you're going to use not very much at all of this stuff. It's just tinting it, so trial and error. Just put a little bit in, see how dark it is. If it's too dark, put a bit more glaze in. If it's not dark enough, put a bit more paint in, and a stirrer out the kitchen. The base for it is kind of what dictates the overall colour. So we wanted this sort of kind of a varnished pine, quite a bright colour, again traditional to the boat. And so the base I used was metal primer. It was mixed with a couple of different colours to kind of get what I wanted. But for your whatever kind of overall wood you want, you'll need a different base. So to give you an example, I've got a few different types of wood here. We've got a normal sort of softwood, a bit of old pallet. If you wanted to sort of get this colour, you would start off with a very pale base colour. Not quite as much colour in it, it's a little bit grey. This is greyed wood from weathering. You'd want it even greyer, something a bit oranger. You get the point. You pick out the lightest bit that you're going to find in the wood, and that's your base. With much darker woods, like this piece of mahogany, you would need something quite a reddy colour as a base, and your glaze colour is going to be a bit darker as well. On ours, we're using burnt sienna as the tinting colour, which gives you the sort of the darker part of the wood grain. To make it a bit simpler for actually painting the panels, I've gone around first and put a stripe line around them. That's just done by hand using a paintbrush which you can get from an artist shop, paint shop. These are a little bit longer in the bristle on them, the hair holds a little bit more paint. It's just used, thinned down a little bit with white spirit and done by hand, just in a straight line. If you go wrong, doesn't matter, just wipe it off. That's the thing with all this stuff, with this glazing. If it goes wrong, just wipe it back off again, it all comes off. Right, so let's go and show you how we get the actual grain on it. Alright, so I've mixed up a little bit of stuff. You can see there's some in the pot there. That's kind of what we got. There's not much because I haven't got that much left to do, and this is for purposes of demonstration. So we're just going to apply this onto the panel. It's a really convenient one as well, right in the corner. So this is our stuff. We're just brushing it on, over the edges. I'm going to have to do this a little bit quick because normally I take a lot of time and I make it really nice, but we haven't really got the time, so I'll try and slap it on a little bit quicker than normal. I follow the edges. I'm quite good at that normally. It's like a colouring book type thing, probably from being a child. Don't go over the edges. Alright, you can see already, just slapping it on like this, you know, you can get a little bit of a pattern in it already. This is pretty terrible, isn't it? Don't worry about going over, you just wipe them off with a piece of kitchen roll with a little bit of white spirit on it and it should take it off. I meant to say as well, if you're doing other surfaces that aren't matte or anything, you could probably just use like normal undercoat, get it a colour you want. Obviously this is a metal thing. Right, so we've got this roughly on. It does say on the can you're supposed to leave it a few minutes, but let's have a look, you know. This is just with the brush that we've got originally. We're going to start dragging it a little bit thicker through it and building it up a little bit, and you can see automatically, you know, it's pretty much wood grainy already, isn't it? It's like, just... Right. Yeah, not bad. Right, so I'll show you what it's like when we use one of these comb things. You put them on. I don't know which way around you're supposed to use it. It doesn't really help, does it? But what we're gonna do, I'll just put it on, pull it down, roll it around a little bit, and it looks terrible. It looks terrible. So what we do is get a brush, wipe it back out again, have another go. That's the beauty of this thing. It's full up of paint. That probably won't help. But well, let's have another go. Oh, that's a little bit nicer. We got a few notches cut along the outside here as well. I've cut a few more in this one, so I can actually kind of get the side which matches up with that, and we'll follow the line. It's quite good if you can follow, you know, kind of straightish lines. There you go. Wood grain. That's done with the comb. The other way that I kind of like to do it as well is with, it seems a shame painting this out, actually it looks quite nice, but never mind. We're going to brush it out, a bit of it, put on a slightly darker patch. Wood's kind of all mixed up, so you'll get bits which has got a bit more sort of colour to it. And one of the other things I've been using is, like I said, the old dried up paintbrushes. They're all a little bit different. What we got here? Oh, that one's proper knackered. Go with that. Just get one of these, drag it on, and you pull it down. Pull it through your paint. Keep pulling it through your paint. Try a different one. Try a different one. I'll try a different one. And you can kind of get some different effects by doing that. It all changes, it's all sort of variations on the same sort of thing. If you allow this to dry just for a little while, you can come back over with the sort of soft brush and brush it out just a little bit, and it gives a sort of a softer edge on it. So there's many possibilities. What I quite like doing is customizing it a little bit. Sometimes you can get just a normal thin brush and sort of drag that through as well, and You can paint your own grain in it. Yeah, not like this, that's really bad. And you can also add some sort of stripes, like a little bit darker. This is really, really bad. But I think you kind of get the gist from that. Again, if you don't like any particular things, like this one, which does look very good, you just brush it out again and start again. There you go. I think that's about it really. As you see, this one here, this has just been done with the dry brush. We've got some slightly darker bits on the edges. That was probably just from building it up using the paintbrush on its side slightly like this, pushing the paint to one area and allowing it to dry a little bit and then doing that kind of thing. Alright, so do you want to see around? Lisa will show you around the rest of the whole, what we've done. And thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been a little bit of a help to you.
And thank you for watching to the end. And if you like what you see here, check out our website. It's oldropesalvage.co.uk.